Hi, Kathy Nelson here, founder of Connectworks, author, speaker, and executive coach, creator of the popular Busy People series. Welcome to the Practical Wisdom series, Hot Buttered Popcorn, How to Uplevel Your Attraction Factor. Delighted that you joined us today. You know how sometimes we think that other people have it so easy? We see them have opportunities drop in their lap. People are just seeking them out. And we just think to ourselves, gosh, how did they get to be so lucky? Maybe they have something I don't. Well, I want to tell you today that you can have that same effect. You can have that same attraction factor if you just understand the essential elements of your own secret sauce. Because I want you to think about the last time you went to a theater and you smelled that lovely, buttery, hot, just seeping out the doors. As soon as you came in, you were bombarded. Your senses could smell it, and you found yourself either naturally gravitating to the counter to order your own or rapidly hitting the door to the theater and telling yourself all the reasons why you shouldn't be buying it, why you didn't need it, how many calories it is. Now, I know there's a few of you out there that really don't have a thing for hot buttered popcorn. For those of us that do, we get it. We know how enticing that smell is. Just that, breathe it in, that aroma. It just takes you back to your childhood. It just makes you want to have some so that you can be back in that moment. Well, and people like that. People that seem to just have people attracted to them. They attract a tribe easily. People talk about them. They refer to them. They send them opportunities. They seem to have something that you don't have. And remember, I said that you can have that same attraction factor when you just understand the essential elements that create your own secret sauce, what attractive leaders do that others don't, and really bust the myths about the attraction factor once and for all so that you're not working contra in ways that counter-indicate from the goals that you'd like to achieve. I want to talk first about the myths that we believe. The secret came out and they actually reinforced anything we already knew about the attraction factor, and the law of attraction became more prevalent. Everyone was talking about it. It's years later now, and we look at some of the principles of just what we've been absorbing all of these years about things that create an automatic attraction for us. Such as, in general, the law of attraction states anything we think about consistently we can bring into our lives. Well, if that were true, more people would be rich, thin, and famous. But one of the principles I know about this, one of the reasons I believe that this is so easy to take in is because it's a partial truth. Absolutely, what we think about is what we tend to become. But when we set a goal ahead of ourselves and we think about it, if there's anything in the process of achieving that goal that we feel or even perceive as incongruent with our values, we will not work toward it. We will only do things that are congruent with our beliefs. So we can think all day about certain things we want to become or things we want to do, but until we begin to align ourselves and align those activities with our core values and our belief systems and begin to take action toward them, we are actually not going to achieve or attract those things into our life. Whether it's people or opportunities, money, resources, people, anything, we are not going to attract into our lives until we make sure that we're in alignment or we're congruent with what our goal is. One of the second principles, or one second myths, that we hear espoused, and we've been hearing it, oh gosh, maybe 30 years since the book came out, Do What You Love and the Money Will Follow. How many people are out there doing what they love and saying, where's the money? Where's the money? Waiting for the money. The truth about this myth is that you can do what you love and make a lot of money doing it. But you have to find the other piece. The missing piece is people who love what you do and will exchange money for it. And really being able to think about what you do in such a way that it provides a value exchange for someone who will give you their value for it, which is money. At Connectworks, we call that the formula of the value exchange. I do something for someone that creates either an economic impact or a lifestyle impact, something that they are willing to invest or exchange their value for, which their value is money, and my value is my expertise, time, resources, tools, etc. um, you can do exactly that same thing. So the principle of do what you love and the money will follow needs to have a little addendum onto it. Do what you love and the money will follow when you're doing it for someone who loves what you do and is willing to exchange their value or their money for it. So that myth is busted. It is not as simple as do what you love and the money will follow. Just the same as what you think about consistently, you will bring about or attract into your life. It's what you think about consistently that's congruent with your values and beliefs and that you take action toward that you will bring into your life. And I bet you know people who actually live and model that. And maybe you are one of those people that models that as well. So you know absolutely in your heart that that's the truth of that principle. And what we want is we want truth when it comes down to the things that we're working from. You know, the third myth that I want to bust for you to do has to do with the luck factor. I started off with saying that, we all know people that we perceive as being luckier than we are. They're born in the right family, they got the right education, they're in the right part of the country, they have the right connections, they just seem to have it so easy. Well, I want to bust the myth for you today is that there is not necessarily anyone luckier than anyone else. And some of the biggest success stories come from people that have had hardship, that were born into poverty. Um, it was just the desire in their gut and their internal wiring and their gift mix that they got, that was just infused in them by the Creator when they were born, that just is irrepressible and comes out. You have the same thing. There's kind of an equal playing field when it comes to luck. We can make our own luck. Absolutely. I was thinking about the luck factor. Some of us have experiences in our life that reinforce that others are luckier than we are. And I bet you have a few of your own. But mine started pretty early, and I call it the fact that I got hit with the stick that said, what's going on? What did I do to deserve this? How am I going to deal with this thing? Early in my 20s, I was married, had a 10-month-old baby on my hip when my husband told me that he didn't love me and didn't want to be married anymore. Well, I felt very unlucky in that moment, thinking, oh my gosh, what did I do to deserve this? And what am I going to do now that I have this, this to deal with for the rest of my life? I'm going to have to work harder than anyone else. I'm going to have to do things that other people don't have to do because I got this unlucky incident in my life. And I can ask you right now, you probably have a few of those things in your life too that will come right to mind when I ask you. You've had some unlucky hits. I went right on from being 21, 22, young single mom, to 23 to being in a very debilitating auto accident, being told I would never walk again. Here is another hit, an unlucky, quote unquote, hit. Now I'm going to have to deal with a disability. I'm going to have to figure out how to walk again. I'm going to figure out how to have a career for myself that will support me and my young son. Not fair, right? I didn't ask for this. This is not where I thought I'd be in my life at this time. This is not what I wanted. This isn't what I asked for. Nothing in my family prepared me for this. Nothing in my life prepared me for this. Other than I'm wired to be pretty stubborn, pretty ornery, pretty, you can't tell me what I can't do, and so I pick myself up and I'm determined. And if you hear my story, it's a whole nother presentation about really overcoming obstacles. But I went on to get remarried and go on and start my first business at 29, because I believed I could. I believed I could. I believed I had the expertise in the area that I was in. I went into partnership with a company out of Seattle that had a great foundation. Um, but 18 months later, had to walk away from that after losing a lot of money, um, having a lot of blows to my pride, thinking, you know what, that's it. 3 blows and I'm out. I think I'll go to work for someone else. I will keep my head down, my nose clean, and take care of my son and my husband. And by then I had a second son, so how can I be in the moment, just being able to take care of me and not stick my head up so I don't get whacked down again. Feeling very, very unlucky. Now, as I tell my stories, I know there's a couple of you, and you may be thinking, you know what, she doesn't know. She doesn't know what I've been through. She doesn't know some of the hardship I've had, some of the unlucky strikes I've had. Well, you know what, as I've told my story over the years, um, one of the things I find is that we all have something. And as I've gotten to know and network with some very, very successful people, um, I find out that they have stuff too, that they've had to get over. They've had unlucky breaks that they've had to overcome. And they've gone on to become the attractive people. And I'm talking about attractive in that people want to be with them. They want to follow them. They want more of their information and wisdom. They want more of the value that they're exchanging, and they're happy to pay for that. Um, those people have overcome some hard things. And so I want to tell you today that no matter what your past is, what your history is, what you've done up to this point in time, you can make a choice and take a step forward and build that um, value exchange that ends up creating that hot buttered popcorn effect for you, where people are just attracted to you and they don't know why, but they get value when they interact with you. So we've busted 3 myths. 1, whatever you think about, you'll bring about. We know that's not true because it requires congruent thought, beliefs, and action. Number 2, do what you love and the money will follow. We clarified that and brought out the truth of it. It's do what you love, the money will follow when you're delivering the value to someone who will exchange their money or their value with you. And 3, the luck myth is that some people are luckier than you is absolutely busted. We all have backgrounds that we have to overcome. We've had hard knocks that we felt very unlucky that we've had to recover from, and everyone can do that. They're just proof, 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 testimony after testimony about what people have overcome to get where they are. You have it within you. The Creator, when He created you, He wired it into your DNA to let the gifts that are inside of you out. So I want to talk next about 3 things that attractive leaders do that others don't. Because practices make perfect. And when we begin practicing attractive behaviors, we begin to perfect them and move into a level of being. So 1, attractive leaders are present. And what I mean by that, you've had a conversation with someone, and I'll probably even guarantee it's been recently. You've had a conversation with someone who has looked you in the eye, who's listened to you, who has not tried to carry their own agenda first, who's not been on their BlackBerry or PDA, they've not been looking at papers or reading things or distracted by the crowd. They have been solely focused on you. They've been present. And how did that make you feel? It made you feel valuable. Attractive leaders are present. And there's a couple of factors